Hi guys, today I wanted to talk about rent and related challenges that foreigner might face in Poland. First, let's discuss channels. Most common platforms, electronic web pages are in Poland, OLX and Autodom. Additionally, it's possible also to find some option using Facebook groups where you can find agency announcement and also statements directly from the owners. Number of the apartment to verify if the landlord is really owning this apartment to rent to you. In this case, you can ask directly Księga Wieczysta, which is local registration public registry platform, and you are able to find if really apartment is registered under this person's ownership. In some cases, apartment owners prefer to cooperate with agencies. That means agency might give you contract of rent and also provide some information in English. Now, some tenants prefer such a way of processing. However, be aware that not all agency can be reliable, so you have to check recommendations and comments in Google and find all the source. Sometimes owners pay to agency to find the right tenant. Sometimes you pay to find the accommodation. So you can always verify various terms and conditions before select your choice. Sometimes owner A might rent apartment to the tenant B. Tenant B decided to rent this apartment to somebody else or temporarily moving in other country. So there can be a lot of different situations. You need to request document allows tenant to have some rental contract. Confusion price, that means not always includes price. If it includes utilities fee that we call czynsz in Polish, or it is without utilities. And also be aware that in utilities not always included only gas or electricity or water. It can be also just garbage removal fee and administration fee if building has security and cleaning service and various other conditions to pay by cash. So be aware that this is also a red flag, as you need to make transfer via bank and save receipt. Suggest based on my personal experience that I remember myself when I was a student in Poland and I was texting as a male gender, for example, przeczytałem, and I was mentioning in SMS that I was a female. So be aware that in Poland this is really a challenge, and I would suggest you can consult or just show to any Polish friend or colleague one paragraph text. You need to have one paragraph text in Polish, and when you start connecting to owners or who posted announcement, you can send SMS about yourself with a few words, or you can just use this text when you call to them. It will be probably very difficult to understand their answer, so I suggest that you might use help of a local friend. However, based on my personal experience, SMS communication also works very well if your Polish is around A1 or A2 level. And make sure that you describe about yourselves. Why are you Poland? How many years are you Poland? What is your aim to come in this country? Are you student? Are you working? Do you have stable work? So you can, and also a few words about your personality, and that will help you them to make a decision about you. Be aware that in Poland, most of landlords, except hostels, requesting a deposit, which we call in Polish kaucja. This amount can be 1 month for rent price, it can be 2 months, or it can be more, or in some exceptional cases, landlord might request some guarantor person, a local citizen, with some deposit amount. So I personally have seen such many contracts, and be aware that you, before decide if you really like a room or apartment, read carefully contract. You might pay to lawyer consultation fee to verify contract details, because it can be really difficult later, and I will tell you why it's very challenging to have right terms in the contract. So as I mentioned, the kaucja is one of the things that a landlord requesting, and sometimes you might get scammed that if you see owner requesting to pay immediately, for example, send a picture portfolio or a video link and you like the apartment. So be aware that you, as I mentioned, first you need to check identity documents also, and if owner really has or just shows you some notary paper that is apartment owner, and you verify in the system, and then you sign contract and you pay kaucja. Never pay first kaucja without signing contract, and especially you might get such information. We have a lot of visitors, so we need to rent immediately. One of the most painful thing, based on my personal experience, this is when your life circumstances request to terminate contract and you are unable to handle this without complication process or without involving lawyer. So in this case, I really recommend read and verify also verbally what is terms of termination. For example, something happens with you, is this, for example, health condition, or you get married and you need to move with your spouse, or different other reason, or you are a student and you find a job in another city and you have to move. Might take your deposit if it's regulated by contract, or owner might ask you to pay a rest amount of all months. For example, if contract ends after 8 months, you might be requested to pay all this, which can be quite big amount. However, if you talk about the results, so you are living apartment, right? You are not using next period of time, and owner can rent it to somebody else, so it's quite a high demand. However, as I mentioned, still you might get a very complicated case where you cannot resign based contract terms, and you are obliged to pay. So that's where I'm advising you to verify in advance if it's possible any notice period, for example 3 months notice period. If one not enough, when owner can find another tenant, and or possible just to take a deposit. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you soon.